All right, morning everyone. It is 9 a.m. Central Time, Southern Mississippi. I'm getting ready to do another race here. Need to make some updates real quick. Already changed my weight, but I need to get a different bike going. Very abbreviated warm-up, so we'll see how much wind I suck on this. And do another Criterium race, clockwise direction, 12 laps. Going with my typical setup here, the Venge frame with the specialized Venge frame with the Zip 808 wheels. Seven seconds, here we go. This ought to be fun, because I'm not warmed up, as you can see from the heart rate. First person view. All right. Race is over. Save my stats away without diluting them. That's why I do that every time is I just quit the ride I'm on, let it save, and then come back in. It captures just the data there. If I keep riding in the same world or a different world, it just continues at the same ride. And so it dilutes my stats. I don't get true numbers. That's why I do that every time. I'm going to ride with my pace partners. My cool down. I think you've seen me do this with the category D in the past. And I found that the category D is too inconsistent. I'm either, my brother-in-law in Romania is watching. Evening, Brian. It is, let me get pedaling real quick here. Let's see, it's 5:39 p.m. there. I believe they're 8 hours ahead. Wow, a lot of people in this base group right now. All right, so see the pace partners, that glowing person in the middle that we're kind of catching up on. They've got the chevron thing floating above them. Actually, my legs are not enjoying this at all. So I'm actually just going to let that go. And focus more on some spinning. I'll give you a debrief on how the race went. If I recorded the race and then did some voiceover and then uploaded it, I'd be able to, assuming I remembered everything, as I watched it, I'd be able to give you some, what would appear to be real-time dialogue, because it'd be recorded, but basically I'm lazy. It's a lot easier to just record it as it goes and then do a recap from what I remember afterwards, because then I don't have to go back in and edit the video. So, all right. The warm-up was not a warm-up. Well, let me start back at the very beginning. So, yesterday, no, New Year's Eve, I think, my wife had decided to do a live event on her treadmill. I think it was going to be a 5K New Year's Day, except they were going to make it Saturday instead of Friday. So it was really January 2nd, which would be today. Started at 7 a.m. Central Time. And And then last night sometime she decided that was too early to get up. Well, before that, she and I had already agreed I would work out at the same time as her. And then after my effort yesterday with the FTP test and that hill climb, my legs are definitely feeling it. So I figured, all right, well, I'll just get up and I'll just do a nice, easy ride. Then last night, at some point, she decided that 7 a.m. was going to be too early. But there was another live event at 9 a.m. Central Time. Sounds great. We got up, had breakfast. And again, I was just going to go for a nice, easy ride. But then while I'm fixing breakfast for us, I decided that based on our normal weekly workout schedule, as we fit it in around life events and work and such, I'd work out after work on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday nights, and then again on Saturday sometime, probably mid-afternoon. So, and then she'd either work out at the same time as me, which is usually what happens, or if there's some live event she wants to do during the day, she would do that, and I did my own workout as per the outline I just outlined. So anyway, with that in mind, I knew I had the next 2 days off, Sunday and Monday. So decided, well, let's see what's on the schedule, calendar events. Oh look, there's a Criterium race this morning at 9. So I'll just do that. Unfortunately, I wound up getting pretty pressed for time. This time kind of crept up on me. So my workout, my warm-up was, I think it was only like 7 minutes long. And based on my new FTP as of yesterday, that 7 minutes didn't take me into as high of a power range as what would have been the day before. And I knew that was going to happen. I thought about it as I was getting ready. And had I not been under a time crunch, the goal was to come out here and change my workout so that it takes me into a height. It's the same 10 minutes takes me, I was going to move it so that it takes me into a higher power band. Because I still wanted to do a certain level of wattage, because I knew that's what would get my heart rate to a certain level for a warm-up. But with a new FTP that's set lower, because I reset it yesterday, I had to make the workout, I had to change the workout because it's based on percentage of FTP. So anyway, a lot of information there, but anyway, I didn't wind up not having time to do that. I did have time to make a couple of edits to the YouTube information before I started streaming, so that it correctly denoted what this event was. It's something that YouTube made a change a while back. I never get any documentation, so I don't know if there's some place I should be looking, but it used to be that when I wanted to go live, I could pick a previous ride as a template. So I could have just picked the last time I did this exact race and then go live with it. And of course, then it would have the same title and everything. Well, now when I go live, I don't see that option. So it just picks all the previous details of the previous time I went live, which was yesterday when I was doing an FTP test. So I have to change all that. And I have to change it every single time I ride if the ride is not the same as the previous one. So maybe I should invest in figuring that out. Brian says you did that climb, it's pretty serious. So Brian, does that mean you're on Zwift now? I want to get a little bit of there's a time delay from when I talk to when it pushes. So when I ask a question, Brian thinks he's seeing it real time, or any of you think you're seeing something in real time, but it's actually a time delay as the data gets captured and then pushed. There's probably about a 10-second delay in there. So I can ask a question. You think you're seeing it real time, but okay, so there's Brian's answer is yes. So I'm going to look him up here. Find Zwifters. I don't know what Zwift is doing here. We'll let it spin for a second. Nice. Merry Christmas. What trainer did you wind up getting? Or do you use the, I'll call it a dumb trainer, Wahoo Kicker Snap? Is that the wheel on kicker that's smart trainer, or is that the, I don't know which one that one is. Do you take your wheel off? All right, well, I'm waiting on the time delay there. And by the way, Brian is in Romania, so I think I mentioned that earlier, 8 hours ahead. So there's a time delay from me, from the time I'm talking to the time it uploads on YouTube, across the world. Okay, wheel on. Okay, that's what I thought that one was. Nice. Smart trainer, yep. Well, cool. Want to figure out times when we can ride together. Being 8 hours apart, of course. All right, let's see. The companion app still sitting or spinning. So Brian, I will look you up. Probably easier to find you at a later time. So recap of how the race went. So my warm-up wasn't what I wanted. It was very abbreviated. My heart rate only got to like mid-130s. My legs, what I was kind of betting on was that even though I dug deep into the muscle reserves yesterday, and I could definitely feel that on the edge of muscle cramps all over the place yesterday. I figured it would not wind up hurting me too bad in a crit race because there's a lot of I don't know what you call it, up and down basically on the wattage. Push and relax and push and relax, push and relax. Relax. So I figured I'd be okay there. And I was, I think, throughout the ride, there was a couple times where I could definitely feel yesterday's effort, mainly in the hamstrings. But otherwise, I was pretty good there. As you saw at the very beginning of the race, I was very pressed for time and wasn't warmed up, and so I pushed hard to get to the front. At one point I saw over 600 watts, kind of trying to push through the crowd to get toward the front group, and that worked. I got right up to the front and was the front, which isn't what I wanted. So then I relaxed too much, and then quickly drifted back to mid-20s, and then had to do work again to go forward. So it wasn't where I wanted to go, where I wanted to be. First climb came. Group started to splinter. Pushed hard, covered a couple of gaps. Still in the front group, coming into the end of the first lap as we came across the start finish. A huge gap had formed behind, so I was happy that I had covered that one. On the downhill section of the very first lap, mentally, I was already on the verge of quitting. Basically the mental game happens, and it's a competition between what your body thinks you can do and then tells your mind, convinces your mind of what it can do versus what it can really do. And so I didn't give up, pushed hard, kept with that first group, covered the big gap that formed behind us. It was, I don't know how many seconds back it was, but if you go back to the very beginning of the video and look toward the downhill section of that first lap, and then as we come around the 180 toward the start finish, you can see there's already a huge gap that formed there. And if you look in the list on the right side of the screen, you can see how many seconds back it was. But anyway, just happy I covered that. Uphill section, the next one, covered a couple gaps. And then either that lap or maybe the third lap on the climb, and then the top section, somewhere in there, starting to feel the pressure. Tried to cover a couple more gaps. That didn't work, and that was it. So then the rest of the race was We had, I was in a group of about 5, I think. And then slowly we were coming up on people that were dropping out of that front group. And they would either catch on and stay with us or go right through and out the back of our group. There were several people. If you look, there's a little icon next to them. There's a triangle. I think it's a black triangle with a light blue or aqua blue. No, not aqua blue. Anyway, some sort of a light blue exclamation point in it. I think maybe it's green. Those are people that got flagged for sandbagging. So we're in a C race, which means there's a FTP range that you're allowed to operate within. And it's not an instantaneous FTP range. You're allowed to go over the range for some short period of time. I'd have to look to see exactly what it is, but 3.2 is the max. So you can go over 3.2, but you can't do over 3.2 for 30 minutes, you know, one end of the extreme. Can't do it for 10 minutes, can't do it for 5 minutes. There's some limit. You're allowed to go over that number. And if you go past that limit, then you're flagged. You're not kicked out. I don't know if you're disqualified, but you are definitely, when I say disqualified, I mean on the Zwift power side of things. I don't know if your results still count or not, but you're definitely impacted the rest of the race. So you saw those guys with all that, with that with the exclamation point on them. They had to ride the rest of the race with that on. So not only did everyone around them know, but because the ride is virtual, it can adjust the physics immediately, and they immediately take a physics hit. So I don't know if it, I don't remember what it does. If it does something to their, their output. I don't remember if it does something to their weight. I don't think so. I think it does something to their wattage, almost like a reverse draft. So they feel the impact. It's like they're going uphill even when they're not. And so anyway, several of those guys we picked up. Some were able to stay with us. They're doing a lot more work just to stay with us because of that. Picked up some other guys that that wasn't the case, but they definitely fell out the back of that front group. The front group had diminished quite a bit because at one point I saw that I was in 13th place. So the front of our group was probably 12 or 11. So I don't think I was in the very front of our group at the time. So that meant that the front group probably had around 10. In fact, I could tell you. Well, I think I can. I don't know what the companion app's doing now. It's not just sitting here spinning. I'll see if I can look up my own activities. Well, there's some issues. I'll try and relaunch it here. Anyway, while that's coming up, if it comes up, So the front group was, I'm going to say somewhere around 10. So it did drop significantly. Felt like I was doing okay, but again, everything is timing. So, yeah, it's not coming up now. At one point, a couple laps to go, I was toward the front on the climb. That was all good. And climb on the 11th lap, I think, I was toward the back of that group, which means I have to do an awful lot of work just to stay with the group instead of letting up on the power a little bit and drifting back to the group. Now I'm doing everything I can just to stay with the group. And that hurt me because then I have to do an awful lot of work as that group splinters out on the climb and then on the rest of that top section. And then that takes you right into lap number 12 of 12, which automatically everyone drops a hammer. And I could definitely tell I was doing an awful lot of work just to try and stay with the, toward the back of the group or with the back of the group, trying to hang on the back of the group. And, you know, again, this is a race, so go into the climb, hammer drops, continues along the top. Never saw the front of that group again. And yeah, so anyway, that was a pretty sad race for sure, but kind of knew that going into it. And the only way I found to improve on that race is to race it all the time. And it's definitely strategy. It's definitely timing. You have to pay attention in that race. It's short. It's explosive. And I'll take us to 9 miles here and then call it. So anyway, happy we warmed up for that race. I've shown that time and time again, so I set myself up for failure to begin with. And then trying to get back into the cardiovascular condition I want to be in after taking a couple weeks off. And even that, I could definitely feel a difference between where I was. So I have some work to do. And there's our 9 miles. So, all right, with that, we'll go ahead and call it a ride. Thanks everyone for watching. As always, if you like the ride, like the video, hit that thumbs up. If you want to stay subscribed or be notified when I go live, which I expect is how Brian knew I was riding. Hit that subscribe button. As always, I'll leave in the description. I always make the edits after the live video, so if you're watching live, the description isn't quite up to date. That's why you see some blanks. But I will leave in the description my Garmin data if you want to check out what it looked like versus what it was. All my data is there. I'll leave a link to the hydration product I use called H2O, even though I didn't use a lot of it today, because my warm-up and everything else was kind of messed up. And I'll also leave a link to the maps on Zwift. As always, leave me a comment, tell me where you want me to ride, I'll ride it. If I've already ridden it, that's fine. It's been a while now. If you want to see me ride in the other direction, that's cool too. If you want to go for a ride, leave me a comment, we'll hook something up. All right, with that, I will we'll call it. Keep Zwifting. I will see you